Welcome to The Fight with Teddy Atlas, presented by Dynamic Striking. I'm Ken Rideout, joined as always by the voice of combat sports, the legend Teddy Atlas. We're here today in Lower Manhattan, back home at the Trinity Boxing Club. We're here to preview the Triple G Canelo trilogy. Today's fight plan is brought to you by our friends at MyBookie. Check them out at mybookie.ag. Use the promo code ATLAS for a 50% credit on your first deposit. Teddy, it seems pretty apropos that we're going to discuss this mega fight, and right as we do, the thunder and lightning storm starts in New York City. It's also 150 degrees outside.
Yeah, hurricane. A hurricane. Who's going to bring the wind? Who's going to bring the thunder in this fight? They both usually do, but it begs to ask that age-old question in boxing. That once again, a great fight between two great fighters is happening too late. At least for one, for Triple G. 40 years old and very inactive and didn't look great. He got the job done, but got hit a lot in his last fight against Murata, the Japanese champion. So one other thing that you have to put in here into the equation is that one of his advantages is no longer there. He's no longer the bigger, stronger guy. I don't know how that happened, but he's not. Canelo now occupies that role. So there's one thing though. There's one thing that doesn't change, and that's when you have an old champion who's been a lion. He's been the king of his kingdom, roaming and defending his kingdom. Yeah, his mane gets gray. Yeah, his claws aren't as sharp, but he still thinks like a lion. He's still a lion. So that's what we're gonna. Did you hear the roar? I hear it. I hear it. So that's what it's gonna come down to. We're gonna go now and see if the roar is still there of the lion, or if Canelo is now the king of this jungle. I hear the roar. We better answer it. You ready?
Let's do it.
Let's go, babe.
All right, Teddy. Triple G Canelo, the trilogy. Looking forward to this one. What does Triple G have to do to level the scorecard here and get his first win against Canelo? His first official win, I should say.
Yeah, I thought, and that's a good place for me to start. I thought he won the first two fights. I mean, the first one they made it a draw. That for me in the business, that's what I call robbery using latex gloves.
Yep.
So you don't leave fingerprints. You know, so that's what they did. Give him a draw the first time. They robbed him. It was so obvious he won, so they had to do it that way. And then the second time, I thought also that Triple G won. They gave it, of course, to Canelo. And both fights he fought differently though, Triple G. And I think that's worth noting. The first fight he pressed. He did what Triple G always did. Yeah. He went and got him. You know, he pressed the fight. And Canelo was still growing up. He wasn't used to that kind of fight with that kind of level of man. And it, you know, you could see he was a little hesitant in certain spots. He kind of grew in that fight. And he definitely grew after that fight. He was more confident. In the second fight, Canelo was the guy coming, you know, pressing the fight. And Triple G used his experience to box more. He mixed it up a little bit at the end. He fought when he had to, but he used his jab. He used his jab and he boxed more. First of all, I don't think that he can box for 12 rounds at 40 years of age. That's a big factor here, his age. And he didn't look, he hasn't been active. His last fight with Murata, you know, he won the fight. He won that title from Murata, and he got it done. And he behaved like Triple G did in the end. He went and got it done, you know, and he overcame what he had to overcome. But he was getting hit a lot, especially early on. And obviously that can be a big problem. Now with the bigger, stronger guy in Canelo, like that's changed. You talk about a role reversal, that's changed. Don't ask me what it is. You know, I don't know if it's the beef in Mexico or if it's just a real good weight program that he's on. I don't know. But all I know is Canelo's now the bigger, stronger guy. So I don't think that he has the legs, Triple G, to box 12 rounds. And I don't think that he can go in the pit. He can go in the trenches with this guy at this point in his career either and survive that. So I think at the end of the day, he's going to have to do a little of both. You know, he's going to have to use that great experience, do a little boxing, do a little pushing, and then do a little clinching, you know, to slow down the pace and get into the pit stop. You know, like you bring a car in there to get refueled, you know, so you don't run out of gas. I think he's going to have to use all that experience and do that. And I think that there's two very specific things I can point out to the audience there that obviously he's got to be aware of. One is that, yeah, you know, Canelo's a strong guy, he's a good puncher, you know, he'll come at you a little bit, but really Canelo's a counterpuncher. A lot of people don't realize that. They think he's just a guy coming at you. He's a counterpuncher. And I tell you, he's got to be aware, really aware, Triple G, that he is a counterpuncher. And what he's got to do is he's got to draw the counter before Canelo wants to counter. You know, get that shot out of the way so then he can be safe when he throws some, particularly when he jabs. Because in the last fight with Canelo timed him with a lot of right hands over his jab. And so what he's got to do is really be cognizant of that, and he's got to correct that. And so I'll be Triple G, they're both orthodox, right? You're going to be Canelo. And when he threw the jab, he threw the right hand. You throw the right hand, you beat Canelo. So I wait for my jab to start. He timed it, boom. He threw the counter right hand. Again, bang, and he was getting caught. What he's got to do here is get it, you don't throw it over there, you throw it straight. So again, I hope you throw it straight, because if you throw it crooked, I don't even have to move my head. I could stay right here, and they go over here, and that wouldn't be authentic. That wouldn't be real. So again, you got to be very aware that he's looking to counter you with the right hand when you throw your jab. So give it a little time, get it out of the way, bang, and then counter the counterpuncher with your left hook. If you can do that, do it again, just to give the audience a little fight. Get it out, bang, counter with the left hook, counter the counterpuncher. Now, if you can do that, you can slow down. Maybe you hurt him. He's got a real good chin, Canelo, we know it. But maybe you hurt him, or at least slow him down, and make him a little hesitant about throwing that punch. See, that's the key. You know, hey, at the end of the day, he's going to have to do a little of this, a little of that, and he's going to have to depend on his great experience as a champion for so many years. And every once in a while, things are against him, there's no doubt about it, but every once in a while, you'll see, my mentor, Cus D'Amato, used to always say, once in a while, the great old champions can pull it together. When they're already in their twilight, they can pull it together for one night.
You know what I think of? Donaire against Inoue in that first fight, because look what he did to him, and look what Inoue did to him in the second fight.
But it was a hell of a fight.
Hell of a fight.
One. No, you're right.
Broke his orbital, touched him up.
Again, the old great ones, sometimes they can just, for one night, they can look to the heavens, and they can just say, hey, boxing gods up there, be kind to me for everything I've done in the past, and come down and give me one more night of youth. And that is what he's going to have to do. But he's going to have to do a little pressing, a little boxing, a little clinching. He's going to have to use all of those years, at 40 years of age, of experience in that older body now.
You know what that reminds me of? 36 minutes to make life fair.
There it is.
So all he's got to do is show up for 36 minutes.
That's it. That's why I have that saying on the shirts. 36 minutes, make life fair.
All right, Teddy, we talked about what Triple G has to do. What does Canelo have to do in this fight to get the second victory over Triple G?
Well, I think where I'm going to start with this one is where me as a trainer find it sometimes apropos to start with what he can't do in order to win, what he shouldn't do in order to win the fight. And for that, it starts with he should not, he being, of course, Canelo, go in there just looking for one shot, which is a possibility only because Hey, look, everybody knows how old he is now, Triple G, and he struggled, especially early on with Murata, got hit a lot. And as we already talked about, Canelo's the bigger, stronger guy now. They've reversed roles that way. So that's the first thing. You can't go in there with a guy this experienced and just think you're going to go land a big shot. If he does that, he's going to give an opportunity for Triple G to pull off the upset. Because with his great heart, his great experience, even at 40, he'll find a way to outbox him. He'll find a way to avoid those one big shots. So that's number one. And the other thing is, he's got to go to the body of the older man. I mean, he's a real good body puncher. We know that, Canelo. And now you're going to the body of a 40-year-old guy. It makes sense. So those are the things. But I want to give some real specific things for the audience there to really, really concentrate on, to really look for. And the first one I'm going to start with is the uppercut. That Triple G likes to throw the right uppercut. Now look, Canelo's got a good uppercut too. He uses it very well, but we're not talking about him right now. We're talking about Triple G. He likes to throw that right uppercut when they get in close, and throw. But there's a problem. He's got a flaw. Yeah, even fighters like him have flaws. You just have to know what the flaw is, and you have to exploit the flaw. What he does is, when Triple G goes to throw the uppercut, he drops it. He exposes himself. He goes like this. And before it gets to the target, there was an opportunity to beat him with a left hook. And Canelo, talking about good punches, he's got a good left hook. and he's a good counter puncher. We already made that case earlier. So you're going to throw the right uppercut. So as soon as he drops that, bang! Just time him. Fill the hole. Fill the space. There's a space there. Fill the space. Believe me, Canelo knows how to fill spaces. So he sees that bang! Don't give him a chance to throw it. Just beat him with it. There's one other real specific spot too. It's a no-no. When I train fighters, I always say, do not lead with left hooks in front of a guy, because you lead with a left hook. Do you remember in geometry class, they taught you that a straight line beats a crooked line? Well, that's true in the sweet science. You have to pay attention to those things. You throw a wide left hook, or a left hook period, in front of a guy, he can beat you with a straight right hand. Again, Canelo's got a good straight right hand. He's shown that, many times. So, again, you don't want to lead with a left hook in front, where I have you do the no-no. I don't like to do no-nos. I like to try to show things the right way. It's okay for you to show it the wrong way. Helping me out, thank you. So, if Canelo, or Triple G, I should say, looks to lead with the hook in front, Canelo's calm. He's an experienced guy. He's very confident. He starts to throw that left hook. Bang! Just step inside. He starts to see that. Bang! Straight line beats the crooked line. Do that, and again, Canelo will. This time he might not need the help of the judges. No, he might not. At the end of the day, I love Triple G. I have respect for both fighters, but I have to go. I have to go with Canelo. I have to, because of the age, because of the inactivity of Triple G at this point in his career, the way he looked with Murata. It's hard not to go with Canelo. But I'll tell you one thing. We talked about it in the opening. When you're dealing with an old lion, maybe he's missing a few teeth, but don't let that lion roar again. Don't let him roar again. And Triple G will look to roar one last time, because there's one thing that the age doesn't take away. And Frazier and Ali proved that to Trill and Manila. Character. Yeah, they were spent as fighters. They weren't the same fighters. They weren't. But their character was still strong. The character of Triple G, the champion at 40 years of age, the Lion. You can't discount that. But at the end of the day, if I'm forced to make a pick, it's got to be, it will be Canelo.
All right. There you have it, guys. For our friends at MyBookie, you can check them out at mybookie.ag. Use the promo code ATLAS for a 50% credit on your first deposit. The line on this fight is minus 450 on Canelo, plus 350 on Triple G. At that kind of wood, do you like it enough to lay the wood and take Canelo?
No, I'm not going to lay it. I'm going to watch.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch. But, I mean...
If you had to choose one or the other.
Yeah, if I had to bet, I'd lay it. I'd lay it. But because there's another X factor here. I hate to say it, but you know what? It's a fact. Facts are facts. If he does get past the abilities of Canelo, the younger Canelo, he's got to deal with the abilities of the guys at ringside with the pencils. that ain't easy. He hasn't been able to do that twice. You know, those guys aren't always fair.
No.
You know, I think they got erasers on their pencils. You know, so for me, I'm looking at it. You don't want to just throw the money because you're getting a good line. He's not only got to get past everything I just described with the younger fighter, but he's got to get past judges that already showed you they're not letting Canelo lose. Really. I mean, look how they tried to rob him against Beaver. Beaver probably won 11 rounds.
Yeah, easy.
And they had it, what, a 2.5? I mean, I got to laugh because I don't want to cry.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that is one of the problems with this sport. But inside the ring.
Does the fight go the distance?
I think if I had to take a wager there, that now you're getting me interested. If I had to take a wager there, I might look for Canelo to stop him. I might. I hate to say it because I don't want to see that happen to Triple G. I'll be honest, but I might look for Canelo to end the fight before 12.
There you have it, guys. Make sure you tune in the Monday after the fight, and we'll have a thorough breakdown of all the action. And look forward to seeing you guys. Thanks for being with us.
Go take a cold shower, will you?
For sure.
It's hot here.
Hot.